Don't be fooled. 3 small words, but they carry the weight of 1,000 years of misunderstanding. You see, most people wake up each day, put on their clothes, their names, their job titles, and walk around believing they are those things. But that's the trick. That's the magic show. That's the cosmic joke. And if you don't laugh, you'll cry. If you don't see it, you'll suffer. So don't be fooled. Let's begin with this. You think you are you. A solid as self, born one day, growing older, making choices, building a life. But look closer. Where is this you exactly? Behind the eyes, between your thoughts, inside your job? Try to find it. Pin it down. You'll chase shadows. The great mistake is thinking you are something separate. A lonely little flame floating in the dark, but you are the fire itself. You're not in the universe, you're the universe, pretending for a while to be a person. Now I can already hear your mind. Well, if that's true, why does life feel so heavy? Because you've bought into the story that you need to achieve something, become someone. To prove your worth, don't be fooled. The moment you began chasing the horizon, you forgot you were standing in the sunrise. Everything you seek is already here, not because it was hidden, but because you were distracted. Let's talk about society for a second. It rewards performance, praises identity, sells you versions of yourself you didn't ask for. You were born free, but then you were taught a name, a race, a religion, a status. And slowly, the play became a prison. There's no jailer, just the idea that you're locked in, just a dream mistaken for reality. You see, you've never needed saving. You've only needed remembering. So the next time someone tries to tell you what life is about, success, obedience, morality, money, smile gently, smile gently. Not because they're wrong, but because you know they're playing a part in the dance. And when you hear that quiet voice inside, the one whispering, more than this, don't silence it. That's your real self knocking. So I say to you again, from wherever you are, don't be fooled. Not by the world, not by your mind, and especially not by yourself. We spend most of our lives under the impression that we're in control, that we're the ones making decisions, carving paths, mastering destiny. We cling tightly to the idea that with enough planning, enough discipline, enough foresight, we can mold reality to fit our desires. But the more we try to grip the wheel, the more we realize our hands are on a spinning illusion. Just observe, you didn't choose to be born, you didn't select your parents, your culture, the language you speak, or even the thoughts that appear in your mind. They arise uninvited, like waves in the ocean. You might think, I'll decide what I do next. Yes, but who chose the chooser? Where did that urge come from? Peel back each layer, and eventually you find nothing solid underneath, just a pattern of habits, reactions, impressions passed down by life itself. The notion that there is a separate you inside your head calling all the shots is the grand illusion. Like a leaf thinking it's moving independently of the wind. It flutters, changes direction, and feels quite convinced it made the choice. But what if you're not the one steering? Not to trap you, but to free you from this exhaustion. And the moment you begin to let go, not in a passive, defeated way, but in a deep surrender to the flow, you stop trying to dominate every current and begin to move with them. Control was never the goal. Harmony is. From the moment we can walk and talk, we're handed masks. I'll be a good boy, act like a lady, don't cry, stand tall, a smile for the camera. Little by little, we learn how to behave. How to present ourselves, how to be accepted, and it works. We get praise. We fit in, but the problem begins when we start believing the mask is the face. You become the achiever, the irresponsible one, the irritable, the caretaker, the smart one, the failure, the winner, roles written by others, memorized by you and repeated, until you forget they were never yours to begin with. Society rewards the mask, not the mystery underneath. So we wear them proudly, even when they grow heavy, even when they crack. And eventually we forget how to take them off. We meet others not as our true selves, but as characters performing on a silent stage. Two people in love may simply be two masks clinging to each other, desperate not to be unmasked. And yet deep down, there's always a faint pull, a quiet yearning to be seen as we are, unpolished, raw, whole. Whole, but that kind of exposure is terrifying when you've mistaken the costume for your skin. See? So we avoid it. We stay in character, even when it hurts. But no mask, no matter how convincing, can touch the depth of who you really are. You are not the role you play. You are the awareness behind it, the actor who can choose in any moment to step off stage. We live our lives as if we are islands, each person fenced off, isolated, navigating the world alone. You have your name, your job, your beliefs, your body, and so it seems obvious. You are here, and everything else is out there. But this is the root illusion. A trick of perception that says you end at your skin, when in fact you never began there. The air you breathe is not separate from you. Neither is the food you eat, the water you drink, the sunlight warming your skin. Every cell in your body was built from the world around you. You are the forest just as much as the tree. You are the ocean, not just a wave. The heart only beats in rhythm with all things. And yet the mind loves to divide. This is mine, that is yours. Yours. This is me, that is other. But in reality, there is no line, just a flow. The rain does not ask where the sky ends and the river begins. It simply falls. So why do we insist on drawing borders across something so seamless? Perhaps it gives us a sense of control. Perhaps it lets us feel special, important, protected. But in doing so, we cut ourselves off from the very source of peace. Connection. You suffer because you believe you're alone. You're alone. You fear because you believe there is something outside you that can destroy what's inside. But what if there is no inside or outside? What if it's all one movement, one great unfolding, playing itself out in infinite forms? When you let that truth sink in, not just as a thought, but as a knowing, then you begin to see with new eyes. And the world, which once felt cold and distant, becomes your reflection. But from the time we can walk, we are taught to chase. First, it's toys and praise, then grades, approval, love, money, status, enlightenment. Always something just beyond reach. And we run faster, harder, believing that one day, just maybe, will arrive. That peace, joy, and contentment are waiting at the end of some future accomplishment. But here's the paradox. Every time we reach what we were chasing, the satisfaction slips through our fingers like smoke. The goalpost moves, the hunger returns. Because the chase is not designed to end, it feeds itself. You chase because you believe something is missing. But what if nothing is? What if the feeling of lack is only a habit, not a truth? You see, the moment you stop and look around, you realize you're not chasing because you lack something. You're chasing because you forgot how to be still. Stillness is terrifying in a world obsessed with speed. Doing nothing feels like failure. But in stillness, the secret begins to whisper. Everything you've ever looked for, you already are. That feeling of arrival, of deep homecoming, can't be bought, earned, or chased. It's not in the next partner, the next paycheck, or the next breakthrough. It's in the space between your thoughts. It's in the breath you're taking right now. But you won't hear it if you're sprinting through life trying to earn something that was never missing. The game is rigged only because no one tells you you're already standing at the finish line. You were never meant to chase the moment. You were meant to live it. From childhood, we are handed a script. We're told what is true, what is real, what is right, and what is possible. And because we are young, open, and eager to belong, we believe it. Not out of weakness, but out of trust. Parents, teachers, religions, media, they all have their versions of truth, their stories of how the world works, and we absorb them like sponges. But rarely are we encouraged to question. Rarely are we told, find out for yourself. Instead, we inherit truth like property, pass it on like heirlooms, and guard it like treasure. And so we walk around in a house of borrowed beliefs, convinced it's our own. But deep down, something always feels off, like wearing clothes that never quite fit. Because real truth isn't inherited. It's discovered. It isn't shouted. It's heard in silence. The stories we're given are just maps, and most of them are outdated, drawn by people who never saw the terrain. If you want truth, you have to risk letting go of certainty, You have to watch your favorite ideas crumble. You have to admit that the world is far more mysterious, far more alive than any belief system can contain. Truth isn't a conclusion, it's a direction. It unfolds like a flower when you're no longer trying to define it. And once you start looking, really looking, you realize the truth isn't in the words, the books, or the sermons. It's in the space between, in the quiet awareness behind your thoughts, in the question that won't let go, and no one can hand it to you. You have to see it, not with your eyes, but with your being. We speak of freedom like it's a place we need to reach. A prize we need to earn, a condition that depends on what's happening outside us. We think freedom will come when the job changes, the debt clears, the world fixes itself, or the mind finally shuts up. But this idea of freedom is just another chain, one made of waiting, hoping, postponing life until the stars align. The truth is, real freedom isn't something new you gain. Huh? It's something ancient you remember. It's not about becoming more, it's about dropping what was never you to begin with. The roles, the labels, the fears, the endless mental noise, these aren't who you are. They're just the dust that gathered while you forgot. And when you begin to brush that dust away, what's left isn't something exotic or extraordinary. What's left is simple, obvious. You, not the version dressed up for the world, but the one that was here before the world told you who to be, that you doesn't need fixing. It doesn't need to succeed or impress or know what happens next. It just needs space, silence, presence. And the moment you give it that, even for a breath, you remember that freedom was never outside. There was a sky behind the clouds, the stillness beneath the noise. The awareness watching the story unfold. And it was always waiting patiently for you to notice. So now, after peeling back the layers of control, of masks, of the illusion of separation, of the endless chase, the borrowed truths, and the forgotten self, what remains? Just this. A quiet, undeniable presence. Something that was never born and will never die. And maybe that's what all the noise was hiding all along. You don't need to become anything. You don't need to chase anything. You just need to stop being fooled. Fool. Fool. And when you stop trying to hold it, fix it, name it, or win it, you realize you are it. What you're looking for has been looking through your eyes the entire time.